Welcome back, y'all. Big time victory for our Tennessee Volunteers. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and I am your host, Bull. So, man, we just went out there and beat the number one team in the country. I guess that's what they're saying. That team's supposed to be number one. Now, the one thing that I will tell you, and actually, I need to take this banner down because that is the wrong one. But the one thing that I will tell you is that we felt really good about Tennessee heading into this game. We talked about it yesterday. We've talked about it since the last time that we played Auburn, really even pregame. We felt like we would have beat them in the first one. We actually should have beat them. We're beating them with maybe like a minute or something left to go in that game. And, we come out and we prove it in a absolute, must-win situation, I feel like, for Tennessee. Well, was it really must-win? I don't know because maybe, as we said a million times, we don't know. Do we really want that one seed? I don't know that we necessarily need it. But at this point, I think that we are on the path to be able to get that. We're going to the SEC Championship game tomorrow. One of the things that I, will say is that there was somebody, I don't remember, it's one of these big time talking heads said that even if Tennessee wins the SEC tournament, that we're not going to get a one seed. I disagree with that because we just beat the number one team in the country. And then we will have, if we end up winning it, then we will have beaten Florida twice. Florida is the current number one or one of the current number one seeds. Okay. Or we would have beaten Auburn twice. So I just think that there is so much bias. There is so much. It just feels like people want us to lose. And maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Maybe that's, like battered ball syndrome. I don't know exactly what it is. But as a Tennessee fan, for me personally, I just felt like even the daggum referees for like the past month, we talked about it after every single game. The calls really wasn't going in Tennessee's favor. A lot of ticky-tack stuff. Like that last foul call on Felix, that was a joke. There was two or three others that were also jokes, but either way, like we always, something else that we always say is that this team finds a way to win. That's what championship teams do. So I feel very confident. I feel comfortable with what this team is doing, and I would love to hear y'all's thoughts as well. Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And let me get to these chats, man. Early on, I see y'all in here. I know everyone's very excited about this one. And my dog Timmy G's going on, bro, is saying on to the championship game. You already know, baby. You already know, on to it, and I think that we will win it. Now, obviously, we got to scout Florida and Alabama. I still kind of feel like Florida might be, Florida and Alabama both look really good, and I just feel like that would, increase Tennessee's resume that much more if we can beat either one of them, or I should say when we beat either one of them. Next one right here is coming from I Bleed Orange. Going on, bro? Saying, how about those balls? Yes, sir. How about them balls, baby? Right here from Blockhead saying, go Vols. You know it. Love it. Love to see it. Next one is coming from I Bleed Orange, saying that Blue Chip is because they hate Tennessee. That's 100% right. So I guess he's kind of talking about my quick little rant that I had to go on. Yeah, it feels like everyone hates us, but they hate us because they ain't us. We are trendsetters, and in every single sport, this is the everything school. No one's ever seen it, right? I mean, have we ever seen a team win a national championship in baseball and then do it in basketball too? And then, oh, by the way, coming up here in a few short months, the football team does it too. I don't know that that's ever happened. And I know that we're just here, right? Like we got to be where our feet are and we got to finish things out. But that's how I'm feeling. I think that people are hating on us just a little bit. But that game, there was a whole lot of bias. And even just listening to the commentators, a lot of the balls that were going out of bounds. So, this is Auburn's ball. But it's clearly that Auburn clearly knocked that out of bounds. So what are we really talking about here? Like, what are we really doing? I got really fired up in that game, as y'all can tell. So for my dog MG Way saying GBO, yes sir, yes sir. Go Big Orange, go Vols. From Dex Culpepper is saying strong game number one seed. Yeah. Maybe Dex is saying strong game number one seed. So are you saying that if we have a strong game coming up tomorrow, that we will be the number one seed? Or are you saying that we had a strong game today and that you feel like we're about to get that one seed? I feel like we should get it. I most definitely do. Let's get to a few more here, and then we're going to try to jump into the stats. From Vols Time, saying that it does feel like Tennessee gets the shaft a lot. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that y'all see it too, because I'm thinking to myself, am I just going crazy? Or like, does it feel like everyone is cheering against Tennessee? Like the analysts, the refs are giving Auburn all the calls, and I get it. They've got Broom out there. He's a national name, but it doesn't mean that he gets all the calls. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to stop doing that. That actually hurt Tennessee last season versus Edey. I mean, you can't do anything when a guy is 7'6" and he can elbow you, right in your face, and it's not a foul on him. But if you breathe on him wrong, that's a foul. He's shooting free throws. So, but like I said, to kind of start off, the great news is Tennessee's learning how to win despite all of those things. All right, so I'm gonna pull up these stats here real quick. Give me a second. All right, so we're gonna take a look at this, man, and talk about who I feel like played well for Tennessee. Let's bring it back up to our Vols. So first and foremost, we'll talk about some of the overall stats as far as the turnovers go. I'm looking at that one very closely because that's huge whenever you're talking about this time of the year. Tournament play, you got to limit turnovers, especially careless turnovers. So Tennessee had 11 today, and Auburn had 6. So we had more turnovers than they did, but we still found a way to win. As far as the rebounds go, they had 27. I know that we got more rebounds, and we had 35. So that's a great effort. There was a lot of players, including Tennessee's guards, going out there getting rebounds and things like that, just playing with a whole lot of effort. So that's always excellent. Really, something that we talked about in our last post game stream that we did. We talked about Tennessee's free throw shooting. We said, man, wasn't good this game. We got to pick it up. We picked it up in a major way. We shot 27. We hit 25. That's about 93%. Okay. And I think that was the difference in this game. I think that was part of the difference in this game. There's a few other things that we'll talk about. And actually, Auburn got up to 22 free throws total, but they only hit 13, so 59%. It's as simple as that, guys. Sometimes it's just those small things. And we should be able to hit free throws. Are you locked in? Who's the more locked in team on that given day? That's who's probably going to win. If Tennessee stays locked in like this, that's the number one team, y'all, that we just beat by 5 points. We can beat anybody. All right, so I don't even want to hear it. We can beat any team that we match up with any day that we match up with them. So let's go through all these players and let's talk about Felix. I think that he had a really nice game. I really do. He didn't score any points, but what I like about what Felix did out there is like we kind of touched on, some of the calls that they had that were fouls weren't really fouls. I think that he did a decent job in the first half, but in the second half, as far as not letting Broome get as close to the basket, like don't let him get to his spot. He was pushing him out hard, and you could tell that was coming. So that was huge. You know what I'm saying? There was a couple of times that Broome missed. Now, in the first half, I don't know if he missed a shot. What did he end up with? I think he ended up with like 20-something points. Let's see. So Broome ends up with 23, but he's a very tough cover, especially because he's going to get all those calls. So Felix is a guy that's not going to back down in those critical moments. And I don't want to keep on bringing up last year, but we all know who I'm going to be pointing to right here, right? Like we had folks that folded. Okay, they folded whenever it counted the most. Felix, I don't feel like is going to do that. So proud of what he did there. He also had 9 rebounds. That's big time. He had some really strong ones. You know what I mean? Just boxing out well, going up, getting that basketball as high as possible. And he does things that won't always necessarily show up in this stat sheet that we're looking at with this box score. So excellent game from him. Next, let's talk about Igor. So man, he had 7 points. He was, boy, I'd actually talked about this too in our previous stream talking about Tennessee's basketball team. I said, man, he's a guy that I feel like we can trust in crunch time. He didn't show that today. He was fumbling the daggone basketball, wasn't getting to the right spot, just wasn't locked in. And actually down that home stretch, for those of y'all that didn't get to catch the game live, Iggy just kind of disappeared. We actually had to take him out. So need for him to be locked in. That's the biggest thing. We have all of our players, whatever 9 of them, if everyone locks in, I feel perfectly fine with any matchup. So Iggy, I want to see him step up from that perspective. But he's a guy that Tennessee's going to have to lean on, especially once we get into the NCAA tournament, because he can do a lot of different things. He's a stretch 4. He can shoot the 3. His shots got to start to fall a little bit more consistently, but he can also drive to the basket. We always talk about that. As far as rebounds, he only had 2, but I don't know how many minutes he ended up playing. It wasn't as many as he normally does because, like we said, we had to take him out for some spurts. All right, so next, let's talk about Zakai Ziegler, man. Dropped 20 tonight. He was our leading scorer. He's doing what it takes. He most definitely is doing what it takes. His defense is just tremendous. Ends the game with, there's still only 1 steal. I feel like he had more than that. He had a few turnovers that weren't great. One of them was a pass going to Iggy whenever Iggy wasn't locked in, and that's not on ZZ by any means. But, yeah, where he absolutely excelled at was driving to the basket and getting to the stripe and hitting all of them, 100%, 9 and 9. Hey, whenever he's doing that, okay, whenever our guards are playing like that, whenever they're going to the basket and getting to the line and hitting their shots, this team is very hard to beat. So super proud of him. Really, I'm just super proud of this entire team from top to bottom. But let's also talk about Chaz. 12 points. That might sound like it's nothing, but if you watch the full game, in the first half, he's done it for the past couple of games inside of the SEC tournament. If he keeps on doing that, if he's the spark plug in the first half, a place that we talked about with Tennessee, hey, we gotta find a way to get hotter in the first half. He's helping us get there. And, I'm very proud of him, but it's not just about him shooting and scoring, and because he's doing it again on all three levels, but it's also about the way he's playing defense. His defense, no one ever talks about Chaz's defense. His defense has been really, really good. He might be one of the best defending guards on this team. I mean, they're all really good, but I think that he's up there. You could make a very strong argument that after ZZ and after Shaq, could it be Chaz, or is it Gainey? Is it going to be D-Stone? We've got a whole lot of guys that go out there and they're just doing some really excellent things. So I'm very proud of that from Chaz. How many rebounds did he get? Because he had some very strong ones tonight. So he had 4 tonight. Something else that we talked about, I would say like a month ago, said, hey, he's a guy that we feel like he's going to be a good rebounding guard. You need to have that. Got to have that. You cannot overstate it. So super proud of Chaz. He was 2 of 6 from 3, didn't get to the line. It was a couple of times he got fouled and they just didn't call it. But if he continues to do the same thing that we said about ZZ and the same thing that we're going to say about all of our guards, drive to the daggone basket, okay? Drive to the basket and, get us to the line. That's going to help us out in a very major way. So proud of him. Next, man, we got Jamal Mayshak, dropped 6 tonight. His scoring is definitely picking up. I think his confidence level is definitely picking up. He got to the line. Looks like he was able to shoot 8 shots from the line. He made 6 of them, which is not bad by any means. I'm fine with that. You want to make all of them, but I'm okay with that. Actually, the 2 that he missed, it was back to back, and he was just off. But he does so many different things for you. So how many steals did he end up with? They're saying 2. It was 2 critical steals. Whenever you have a guy like Broome that wants to post up and go to work, the way that he's using his savviness, and actually called a foul on one of those times, but the way that he's using his savviness to fake like he's, going to go with the guy that's coming off of the screen, and he's actually going to come back and get the ball out from that big and help out, Felix and whoever's going to be guarding those bigger players. That's huge. Those types of things, that is critical for this team. And there was actually a pretty good spot. I think Tennessee might have been losing, and then Shaq comes in with his defense and, with just all of his effort and passion that he has for this team, puts us right back into it. Actually, I think we started winning. So that's what he brings to it. So that, that's why I have the utmost confidence in him. And I think that, did he make those last? We had some free throws right there at the end that I think that he made. You know what I'm saying? Just to kind of seal things up. So beautiful job by Shaq. Excellent work. So Cade Phillips, he had 4 points, did some really nice things, missed on a couple of, I would say kind of like, like easy, kind of like easy dunks and things like that he really should have made. But at the same time, you also love his physicality and you love his effort. He's like the bigger version of Mayshak, I think in several different ways. So he ends up with 3 rebounds. He was 2 of 5 from the field. But yeah, I mean, he's doing some really excellent things. And he had to play a lot because our bigs all got into some foul trouble. So Iggy gets into foul trouble. And also Felix, he was in foul trouble. So we had to play Cade a little bit more than what we have been. You know what I'm saying? I think we played him a pretty, it's probably close to about how many minutes he played in the previous game. But yeah, I mean, super, super proud of him as well. Gainey, listen, I love what he's doing. 15 points, just like all those other guards, he's shooting from the outside with confidence. Mid-range is there, okay? He's going to drive to the basket. He's going to play really good defense. He's looking for the basketball. He's going to get on the floor. It's effort. It's all about want to. It's all about passion. And, Gainey showed all those things out there tonight. As far as rebounds, he got 3. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's not him. So he got 5 rebounds. Excellent work. You know what I'm saying? Excellent work. And he was 8 of 8 from the free throw line. And we'll also talk about D-Stone. So he had 6 points. And I think maybe all of his points actually came from him working in that post area. We talked about it. He's a bigger guy. Work him in the post. As long as he's, playing that bully ball down there, he's going to be hard to stop because he's going to get matched up with, some of these guys that are just smaller, and they ain't going to be able to handle him. So that's another way for us to get some more fouls. It helps him out. It helps this team out. gets everything going. And I think that he played really good defense. He also played more minutes than he typically does. But now he's turned into a player where midway through the season, we said, hey, he's got to pick it up. Can he get to a spot where we all trust him heading into the big tournament or just in March period? He's there now. This team, y'all, we are here. We're like, this is what it's supposed to look like. Now, again, it wasn't perfect, but I love everything that we did out there tonight. I'm very excited about, what we could be doing tomorrow and heading into the NCAA tournament. So I'm going to get to some of these chats here. I want to make sure that I try, I'm going to try to get to everybody. Let me see, where did we leave off at? I think it might have been this one right here from MG Way saying that they tried to let Auburn claw their way back in 100%. They definitely did. And at basketball, I know people talk about it with football. It feels like the games are fixed, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It does. I think this stuff is all about making money, right? Like the networks and all that stuff. Like they want to make money, and I don't want to get into like too deep into it. Are they really talking to the refs and saying, "Hey, this is who we want to have win"? I mean, it's very possible, but basketball, it just feels like it's even more so. It's even like it happens even more than it does in football. So yeah, I agree with that 100%. From Gary Sisk, what's going on, Gary? Saying, let's freaking go, baby. GBO. Yes, sir. Hey, I love all the positive energy. And right here from DJ Bruce Cash, what's going on? Thank you for joining us. It's saying, it's great to be a Tennessee Vol. Love to hear it. And from Dwayne Mitchell, thank you for joining us, saying those refs. Yeah, I'm glad that I ain't the only one that saw that. I really am. Also from Nolan Sanders is saying, beat them even with Chad Baker. Mazzara not getting tossed out. Yeah, so I mean, listen, when that one dude, and I think that might be who you're talking about. Let me go in here and look, because I don't know all of Auburn's players' names. Okay, you might be talking about somebody else. But so with whenever was it Dylan Cardwell? Was it somebody else? I think that it might have been Dylan Cardwell. Somebody goes and stands over Gainey after a block, and that really should have been a technical foul. They didn't call it. That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what happens in these types of situations. From MG Way saying that he would love to win a natty in basketball and win number 2 natty for baseball 2 months after. I'm sorry, football. Or yeah, baseball 2 months after. Yeah. Obviously Tennessee's baseball team, we're about to play at 6 tonight, but obviously they look really good. Florida was our toughest test up to this point, is what I noticed last night. Doyle is, he's always going to be really good, but you could tell that it is a difference in the level of competition once you get into SEC play. But we have everything that we need. I'm actually I'm gonna say this for y'all. I feel like Tennessee's going to come out tonight and probably win in like dominant fashion. You know what I'm saying? Like I just think that sometimes you need to see, or like you need to be tested just a little bit more just to get up to that level of play. Baseball is one of those sports where it's not necessarily like a basketball or like a football, like one of those types of sports where you can just rise to the level instantly. I think that, whenever you're playing series and things like that, it might take you one game to see how it looks. And you come out, you start the next one off with a totally different mindset and all of that. You're totally locked in. So I think that Tennessee might be dominant tonight. But yes, I would love to see that too. And I think that that's very, very possible. Let me get to, and we're going to try to get to all these. So from MG Way also saying that I have to give Auburn credit. It was a really good game. Yeah, hey, that was a great game. Actually, if you go back to the start of it, man, it was starting off like it was going to be one of the best games of all time. I mean, did anyone miss a shot for maybe like the first 3 or 4 minutes? Everybody's hot, just back-to-back shots, getting to your spots. It was a lot of fun, I feel like, from start to finish. Now, it was some times when I got a little bit stressed. I said, man, kind of feels like maybe Tennessee might lose, but I mean, that was just for like a split second because I had so much confidence in the vets on this team and just how this team is built from top to bottom. We believe that we're going to win, and that's a dangerous mindset to have heading into the NCAA tournament, and also heading into a championship Sunday, a selection Sunday. And if they look, y'all, if we end up winning, or when we end up winning this SEC tournament, if they try to give us a 2 seed, whether we want that or not, I'm going to raise hell. I'm going to tell y'all that I'm going to be pissed off. So they better not do that because they don't want to get me fired up. All right, let's see who else we got in here. From MG Way saying that we win this game with free throws 100%. I think that was a main part of it. But the other portion of it was being able to get to the line by, drawing fouls and, driving to the basket. and just playing really good basketball. Something else that we didn't even touch on just yet is that Chaz, they gotta. I feel like maybe Rick Barnes could be a little bit more vocal to the refs, especially early on in these games. If Chaz is getting held the way that Auburn held him tonight or earlier today, then those have got to be foul calls. Like you can't just let them do that. That's a major problem. But I also feel like as we get into the NCAA tournament, we're going to get those calls. SEC refs don't call the game the same way that these other conferences are calling their games. A lot of the stuff that's not fouls on Tennessee, it should be fouls in some of these other games. So right now it's 12-12, Alabama and Florida. Just to let y'all know. So this one right here from Dwayne Mitchell saying that Auburn tried to bully Ziegler. Bad mistake. He plays better when he gets angry. GBO. Yeah, man. You can't really bully him. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe people look at him and think that because he's a little bit smaller that you can kind of push him around, but he's a dog. I think that people inside of the SEC know that. He's been here for 4 years. So you should understand that about ZZ. He ain't the one that you want to try to piss off. Like you said, Dwayne. Excellent point. All right, this one right here is from DJ Bruce Cash saying, I see so many one-sided calls in so many games, but being honest, I really felt like I saw some bad ones both ways today, and I definitely heard the announcers calling a lot in our favor tonight. Okay, well, hey, you could be right. Maybe I am crazy. I just felt like, it's never going to be 100% perfect. They're going to have some bad calls both ways. But I felt like the ticky-tack stuff that they were calling against Tennessee, I feel like that was a little bit more lopsided than what they did versus Auburn. You know what I mean? Like, but just because, again, if you go back to Chaz, if you go back to a lot of points in this game, so a lot of times that they were not calling fouls, whether it's off the ball, on the ball, they just weren't calling it. So that's how I look at it. But it is what it is. Whether they love us or whether they hate us, I expect to win either way. I expect us to find ways to win. So from it's going to be tough for me to pronounce that name, but thank you for joining us. Saying even the Arkansas Piggies win. Ooh, we for Tennessee. Hey, I like that one. I like that one from DJ Bruce Cash saying no shade, just calling a ball, and a strike. Yeah, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, man. Like everyone sees things differently, and you could be right. Maybe I'm overanalyzing it. But that's just how it felt for me. The biggest thing at the end of the day is that Tennessee found that way to win. MG Wade is saying that 2 Auburn players I can't stand: Chad Baker, Mazzara, a dirty player, and Johnny Broom, crybaby. Yeah, well, most of their team, most of them, I'm not gonna say every single one of them, but most of them, they're all crybabies. After every single foul call, they're in the ref's face. They just, I think that's kind of like Bruce Pearl's personality rubbing off on his players because he's a very like up and down guy. You know what I'm saying? He's not as even killed. And that could actually be part of the reason why he hasn't won a championship just yet. He's had some really good teams. And I used to love him whenever he was coaching at Tennessee. But now he does kind of work my nerves. You know what I'm saying? His whole team really, really, really does work my nerves. And it was a few times I was like, shoot, I wish we still had a guy like Tobe that could go in there and just bully some of them, just a little bit more. But our guys handle things the correct way where you're going to beat them within the regulations of the actual game. But the football mindset in me is like, okay, I want to try to take somebody out. You know what I mean? And I don't mean like injure somebody, but I'm all about that physicality, but just because that's what I'm used to. But basketball is a little bit of a different story. But I'm proud of the personality that this team has, and I think that's a compliment to Coach Barnes and his personality. Very even keel, doesn't get too up, too down, and he's not afraid to lay into you. He's not afraid to pick you up. So I just think that he's an excellent coach, and I know that some people have been speculating on, is Rick Barnes going to come back for one more year after this year? I think that he probably will. Now, if we win a national championship, I don't know. I think that might be the perfect time with ZZ leaving and all of that, and he will definitely be missed. But hopefully, I'm sure that he probably has like a short list to help Tennessee out. And I know that I'm looking way down the line. We got to, again, focus on what we're doing today. But I absolutely love Coach Rick Barnes. All right, so from DJ Cash also saying that Broom also played dirty. I thought, yeah, I think that he always plays dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like they have a dirty playing team. Right here from Ken Brooks. What's going on, Ken? It's saying go Vols and win the SEC Tournament Championship. Yep, it's coming up tomorrow. Excited about it. And then we got another one right here from Shaggy saying, really love seeing you on Chase Thomas's channel. You guys, and to some extent, Off the Hook Sports are my favorite source of Vol analysis. Thank you so much for that, Shaggy. So, yeah, I don't think that I've even talked about that yet on this channel. If y'all haven't caught it yet, I was on the Chase Thomas podcast, and I love his work. I think that he does a really good job of breaking things down, brings a lot of really quality info, I think to all of his viewers and things like that. But yeah, I was on his channel a couple of days ago, just talking about spring practice and things like that. So y'all go check that out if you haven't already seen the Chase Thomas podcast. Is how you can find that on YouTube. Definitely go out and check out what he's got going on, and we're looking to have him on our channel some. Maybe for some of the March Madness stuff, because he really knows his basketball, and we always want to add some people who are knowledgeable about different sports. Because P and I, while we know basketball, we don't know it like we know football. Football is what we really know. P really knows baseball as well. But we would love to have him on, and thank you for highlighting that for us, because I had actually been meaning to talk about that. Super, super proud of our guys. At this point, it's still, man, it's 22-22 Florida and Alabama. This is going to be a hell of a game. And I don't know. I would actually like to hear y'all's thoughts. Who would you rather face? Would you rather see Alabama in the championship game, or would you rather see Florida? That's a great spot to be in, isn't it? That's a really good conversation for us to have. So please, if y'all are still here with me, let me know down inside of the comment section, or I'm sorry, let me know down inside of the chat. And for my dog MG Way saying thoughts on if Rick Barnes will retire after this season or not. Yeah, so I just kind of talked about that. I know that the chats for me, they come in a little bit late, but yeah, I think that if we win a championship, then it's possible. I'm not going to say that he definitely will, because I really just don't know. But just speculating, just like y'all would, I would say yeah. If Tennessee wins a national championship, I could see him doing that. But if Tennessee doesn't, then I would expect for Rick Barnes to come back. And it would really be awesome if we could somehow get ZZ back for at least one more year. Let's see. Let's get to the next one right here from my dog FS saying, question is, if we win the SEC championship, will we get a number 1 seed? That's the other part that we kind of started this thing off with, that some people have gone out there and said, hey, we don't know, or, we don't think that Tennessee can get that 1 seed, even winning the SEC tournament. To me, that is such a biased take. That doesn't make any logical sense, because our resume is very strong. It will be stronger than Florida or than Alabama. So, like, let's just say if Alabama beats Florida tonight, then Alabama will probably be the new potential number 1 seed, but Tennessee could be the other one. Whoever wins that championship game should end up being it. And at the same token, if Florida wins tonight, and then if Tennessee beats them tomorrow, how do we not, like, if we beat the number 1 seed, we beat the number 1 team in the country, then we beat the number 1, the other number 1 potential seed coming out of the SEC in our conference championship. How do we not get that 1 seed? So yeah, I would be very hard pressed to think that Tennessee wouldn't be able to get it if we win this whole doggone thing. You know what I mean? But that's just me. I mean, y'all could feel totally different. Let me see. What else do we got in here? This one right here from my dog Dry FTWX said, I want to win a natty with Rick before he does retire. I do too. I think that would be awesome for him. Obviously awesome for Tennessee. And I feel like the way that this team is playing right now, I feel like we could most definitely do that. From DJ Bruce Cash is saying, I'd rather not see the team that 30 balled us. Oh yeah, even if we did 20 ball them at home. Hey, look, I'm on the same page with you, bro. I don't know if I really would. And I'm fine with seeing either one of them, but if I had my rathers, it would be Alabama. I think that we could beat Alabama back to back. And plus, Coach Oates comes out and says, oh, well, we should have beat Tennessee. He keeps on kind of hinting towards that, like, oh, we shouldn't have lost that game. Well, whenever we see you again, if y'all make it to see us again, it might be a little bit worse. I'm just telling you, I don't think that Tennessee played the best game versus Alabama. I really don't. I think we could have played way better. The defense wasn't as good as it typically is. So we're going to see, man. But yeah, I would say that Alabama will be the one that I would personally maybe rather see. But I don't care either way. The other part of that, too, is that if do y'all think that there is maybe a little bit of a better possibility if we actually get to see the number 1 seed out west, Florida, head-to-head, and if we beat them head-to-head, do y'all think maybe that holds a little bit more weight whenever they're voting? You know what I'm saying? On who that new number 1 seed is going to be? I don't know. Yeah, so that's the other part of it. I don't care whatever it takes for us to get that 1 seed, or I don't even care if we get the 1. Whatever it takes for Tennessee to win a national championship, that's what I'm for. I'm fine with if we lost today, and if that helped us I would trade winning today for winning a national championship. I think that all of us would. So that's where I'm at with it. From MG Way saying that Florida and Alabama both scare me more than Auburn did. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They most definitely do. I think we matched up well versus Auburn. 100%. And I think that we don't. maybe necessarily match up as well versus Florida or Alabama, but obviously we already beat both of them, so we can do that again. So DJ Bruce Cash is saying facts, and from Dry FTWX is saying Alabama scares me. Yeah, I feel you on that. Hey, they looked really good last night, like really good. I was shocked that they won the way that I would. They won by like 30 or something. I was shocked to see that. And from Dwayne Mitchell saying I would prefer to play Florida. I think we can drive the ball on them. Okay, and open up the outside shot. And Mark Sears is a great player. And Bama might feel a bit more motivated. Yeah, that's another good point. I feel like we can kind of, honestly speaking, I haven't seen a team yet that I don't feel like Tennessee can drive on, just because of the way, I guess, just because of the shooting threats that we have. Because Chaz is a guy that you got to close out hard on, so his drive is always there. Gainey's another one. He's not, I don't think, as good of a 3-point shooter or a pure shooter as Chaz is, but he's still good enough that you got to close out hard. And closing out hard opens up lanes. Opening up the lanes for us to drive opens up other players, from outside. See what I'm saying? So I just think that with the way that we're playing now, I'm really not I'm not overly concerned about anybody. Really not. It's just, I think it will come down to like individual matchups, right? So obviously, if you're talking about Duke's got flag. I mean, he's a 6'9", 6'10" guy. And I know that he's got like the ankle sprain. Hopefully he is going to be fine. I don't wish injuries on anybody. But he's a guy that probably going to be the number 1 overall pick. And I don't really know for sure who we could have to guard him on a consistent basis. One of the things that we have struggled with are those bigs that can kind of come outside and also drive, and they can work inside of the paint and shoot and do just a real true NBA player. So things like that would probably be the more concerning thing at this point. But from top to bottom, I feel more confident about this year's team than I did about, I guess at this point, than I do about last year's team, right? So that's kind of where I'm at, but there's a whole lot for us to be happy about, for us to celebrate with this team. And I think that we will get it done tomorrow. I think that we're going to come out, get it done tomorrow, and probably end up with that 1 seed. And whoever we end up getting in the NCAA tournament is who we get. And I think that we're going to come out laser focused. Hopefully we can get a little bit of rest whenever we can. And I think that this is the Final Four team. If we make it to the Final Four, then we can win the whole doggone thing. So those are my thoughts. But thank y'all so much for joining us today. We will be back with you tomorrow, obviously, or we might be able to come back tonight after Tennessee's baseball game. Possibly. It's probably going to be tough, but for sure we will be back tomorrow. So y'all do enjoy the rest of y'all Saturday, and we'll see what happens with this Alabama-Florida game. But as always, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Peace.